Dae-ho Kim sat in the back row of the Galactic Council chambers, watching the alien beings argue about his home planet. The human ambassador was the only one of his species in the massive hall. Around him, creatures from dozens of worlds spoke in languages that his translation device turned into words he could understand. The Vorthak general stood at the center of the room. General Vectar was tall, with gray skin and forearms that moved as he talked. His voice was loud and full of pride. The other council members listened as he explained his plan. Earth is a simple world, Vectar said. They have no ships that can travel between stars. They fight each other with basic weapons. Their cities are small and weak. We will open gates to their world and take it in one day. Dae-ho felt his hand shake with anger. He stood up slowly. You are wrong about my people, he said. His voice was quiet, but it carried through the hall. Many of the aliens turned to look at him. Some had never seen a human before. They saw a man with black hair and dark eyes wearing a simple blue uniform. He looked small compared to most of them. Vectar laughed. The human speaks. Tell us, little creature, what makes your people so special? You cannot even leave your own star system. We have been listening to your signals for 50 years, Dae-ho said. We know about all of you. We know about your ships, your weapons, and your wars. We have been learning and preparing. Preparing for what? Asked Kilnara, the Eldrin mediator. Her voice was soft and musical. The Eldrin were known as peaceful people who tried to avoid fights. Dae-ho looked around the room, preparing for the day someone would try to invade us. My people have one rule that you must understand. If you attack our home, we will not stop fighting until you are dead or we are. More laughter came from the Vorthak section. Other species in the council looked worried. They had heard stories about worlds that fought too hard when invaded. Such worlds were usually destroyed completely. Your weapons cannot hurt our ships, Vectar said. Our armor can stop anything you have. Our soldiers are stronger and faster than humans. We have studied your military forces. They are divided into different countries that fight each other. That is what we want you to think, Dae-ho said. The room became quiet. Even the Vorthak stopped laughing. Vectar's four eyes narrowed. What do you mean? For 20 years, all Earth governments have worked together in secret. We knew that first contact would probably be hostile. We have prepared for this day. Our military forces train together. Our scientists share all their knowledge. Our factories build weapons you have never seen. Impossible, Vectar said. Our spies have watched your world. You still fight small wars. Your people argue about everything. Our spies let you see what we wanted you to see, Dae-ho replied. The small fights are real, but they are not important. When Earth is threatened, we become one people. Kilnara leaned forward. Human ambassador, if your people are so ready, why do you want to stop this invasion? Surely you could simply defeat the Vorthak forces. Dae-ho's face became very serious. Because I know what will happen next. If you open gates to Earth, you will not just start a war. You will start something that cannot be stopped. My people do not just defend themselves. They destroy threats completely. You threaten us? Vectar roared. I warn you, Dae-ho said calmly. There is a difference. If you invade Earth, my people will not just push you back. They will follow you home. They will take your gates and use them better than you do. They will hunt down every Vorthak ship and every Vorthak world until none of you are left. The council chamber filled with worried whispers. Some species had heard rumors about human nature from their own spies and traitors. The stories were not pleasant. The human lies, Vectar said, but his voice was less sure than before. I do not lie, Dae-ho said. I have seen what my people do to enemies. We do not take prisoners from those who attack our families. We do not show mercy to those who threaten our children. We do not stop until the threat is gone forever. Kilnara spoke again. Perhaps we should delay this invasion. More study might be needed. No, Vectar said quickly. The Vorthak Empire has already decided. We have built the gates. Our forces are ready. We will not be frightened by stories from a primitive world. Other council members began to argue. Some wanted to stop the invasion. Others said it was too late to change plans. A few species saw a chance to take Vorthak territory if the invasion failed. Dae-ho watched them argue and felt sad. These beings thought war was a game with rules. They believed in honor and proper conduct. They did not understand what humans really were. You still have time to change your mind, he said to Vectar. The gates will open tomorrow, Vectar replied. Your world will belong to the Vorthak Empire before the next day begins. Dae-ho nodded slowly. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small device. He pressed a button on it. What is that? Kilnara asked. A message to my government. I just told them the invasion starts tomorrow. Vectar laughed again. It does not matter. Your primitive signals cannot travel faster than our ships. This signal does not go through space, Deho said. It goes through dimensions just like your gates. We learned how to do that 15 years ago. The laughter stopped. Several aliens stood up from their seats. That is impossible, Vectar said. Dimensional communication is very advanced technology. So are many other things we have built while you watched us and saw only what we wanted you to see. Deho put the device away. My message just told Earth's military that gates will open in all major cities tomorrow. They are now moving to final positions. The council chamber became very quiet. Everyone stared at the small human who had just changed everything. General Vectar, Deho said, I ask you one last time, do not open those gates. Vectar's face showed anger and fear. The invasion will begin as planned. Your world will fall. Deho stood up and walked toward the exit. At the door, he turned back. When your forces do not return, he said, remember that I tried to warn you. Remember that Earth offered peace first. What happens next will be your choice, not ours. The next day, dimensional gates opened above New York, London, Moscow, Tokyo, Beijing, and Seoul. Vorthak warships poured through, expecting to find surprised and helpless humans below. Instead, they found missile batteries that had been hidden for decades. They found fighter aircraft with technology that should not have existed. They found human soldiers who had been training for this exact moment for 20 years. The war for Earth lasted exactly 18 hours. When it ended, every Vorthak ship was destroyed or captured. Every gate was under human control. And in the depths of human military bases around the world, new ships were already being prepared for a different kind of journey. Ships that would carry human soldiers through captured gates to Vorthak space. The invasion of Earth was over. The invasion of the galaxy was about to begin. The first Vorthak soldiers stepped through the gate above Seoul, just as the sun was rising. They expected to see a city full of scared humans running in panic. Instead, they saw Colonel Jin-Woo Park and his men waiting for them. Jin-Woo had been in position since midnight. His special forces team was hidden on rooftops around the gate. They had weapons that the Vorthak had never seen before. Weapons that Earth scientists had built in secret underground factories. Wait for my signal, Jin-Woo whispered into his radio. Around him, soldiers from many countries waited in the shadows. American Marines worked next to Russian soldiers. Chinese special forces shared positions with European commandos. For the first time in human history, every army on Earth fought as one. The Vorthak came through the gate in large groups. Their armor was thick and gray. Their weapons glowed with energy. They moved like they owned the world already. Jin-Woo watched them for 10 seconds. Then he pressed the button on his radio. Light them up, he said. The sky above Seoul exploded with fire. Human weapons struck the Vorthak from every direction. The aliens had strong armor, but the humans had stronger weapons. Energy blasts that could destroy tanks hit the invaders. Missiles with warheads that burned hotter than stars found their targets. In 30 seconds, half the first wave was dead. The Vorthak who survived tried to find cover. They shot back with their own energy weapons. Buildings caught fire. Streets cracked under the power of alien guns. But the humans did not run. They had been ready for this fight their whole lives. 3 blocks away, Nari Choi sat in a command center deep underground. She was the smartest military mind on Earth, and she had planned this battle for 5 years. Screens around her showed the fight in every major city. Seoul team, this is command, she said into her microphone. The aliens are trying to group together. Do not let them. Jin-Woo heard her voice in his ear. Understood, command. Moving to Phase 2. Phase 2 was the surprise. As the Vorthak tried to form battle lines, human soldiers appeared behind them. They came out of sewers and subway tunnels. They dropped from buildings and rose from hidden bunkers. The aliens found themselves surrounded. How is this possible? One Vorthak commander screamed into his radio. Intelligence said the humans had no advanced weapons. His question was answered by a plasma rifle that burned through his chest. The human soldier who fired it was wearing armor that looked like something from a science fiction movie, because that was exactly what it was. For 50 years, human science fiction writers had imagined weapons and armor for fighting aliens. For 20 years, human scientists had been building those dreams in real life. High above the battle, Tae-Young Lee flew his fighter aircraft through the clouds. His plane looked normal from the outside, but inside it had technology that could track targets through dimensions. "Command, this is Sky Leader," he said. "I can see their ships through the gate. They have more troops coming. Can you stop them?" Nari asked. Tae-young smiled. "Watch me." His plane climbed higher toward the dimensional gate that hung in the sky like a hole in reality. The Vorthak had thought their gates would be safe. They were wrong. Tae-young fired a missile that disappeared into the gate. On the other side, in Vorthak space, the missile found a troop transport and destroyed it. Then he fired another, and another. "Command," he reported. "The aliens are trying to close the gate. Do not let them," Nari ordered. Tae-young dove his plane straight into the gate. For a moment, he was flying through space between dimensions. Then he was in orbit above a Vorthak world, surrounded by enemy ships. The alien ships tried to shoot him down. They were bigger and stronger than his small fighter. But Tae-young had something they did not have. He had the rage of a human whose home was being attacked. He flew his plane like it was part of his body. He dodged energy beams and missile swarms. He struck back with weapons that the Vorthak could not understand. His targeting computer spoke to him in Korean, telling him where to aim for maximum damage. One by one, the Vorthak ships began to explode. Back on Earth, Jin-Woo and his team were pushing deeper into the city. The aliens were falling back, but they were learning fast. They had started working together better. Their weapons were finding human soldiers. "We need to end this quickly," Jin-Woo said to his men, "before they adapt completely." He pulled out a device that looked like a remote control. It was connected to every human weapon in the city. When he pressed the button, all of them would fire at the same time. "All teams, take cover," he ordered. "Maximum firepower in 3, 2, 1. The city lit up like a star. Every missile, every energy weapon, every explosive that the humans had brought to the fight fired at once. The sound was so loud that windows broke for miles around. When the light faded, the Vorthak were gone. But Jin-Woo knew the fight was not over. More enemies would come through the gate, unless someone stopped them. "Command, the gate is still open," he reported. "I know," Nari replied. "We are going to keep it that way." "What do you mean?" "We are not just going to defend Earth," she explained. "We are going to attack their home. Jin-Woo, gather your best soldiers. You are going through that gate." Jin-Woo looked up at the hole in the sky. Through it, he could see alien stars. "Understood, Command. How many men should I take?" "As many as you need to win." 2 hours later, Jin-Woo stood with 500 human soldiers at the base of the gate. They wore the best armor Earth could make. They carried weapons that could destroy buildings. Most importantly, they carried the anger of a species that would never surrender. "Listen up," Jin-Woo told his men. "The aliens thought they could invade our home. They thought we would be easy to beat. They were wrong." The soldiers cheered. Among them were men and women from every country on Earth. They spoke different languages, but they all understood the mission. "We are not going through that gate to defend," Jin-Woo continued. "We are going through to attack. We are going to show these aliens what happens when you threaten Earth." Above them, the gate glowed with dimensional energy. Through it, they could see Vorthak ships and space stations. "Remember," Jin-Woo said, "we are not just fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for every human who will ever be born. We are fighting to make sure this never happens again." The soldiers raised their weapons and roared their agreement. Jin-Woo activated his jetpack and rose toward the gate. Behind him, 500 human warriors followed. They were going to war not as defenders, but as invaders. The Vorthak had opened a door to Earth. Now they would learn that humans could walk through doors too. As the first human soldiers passed through the gate into alien space, Jin-Woo spoke into his radio one more time. "Command, this is Strike Team Alpha. We are through the gate, beginning assault on enemy positions." Nari's voice came back calm and steady. "Understood, Alpha. Show them what humans can do." Jin-Woo looked around at the alien space station where they had arrived. Vorthak soldiers were running toward them, but they looked confused and scared. "With pleasure, Command," he replied, and opened fire. The invasion of Earth had lasted 18 hours. The invasion of Vorthak space had just begun. Admiral Bo-Ram Song stood on the bridge of the first human starship to enter Vorthak space. The ship had been built in secret deep under the Pacific Ocean. It looked like it was made from pieces of destroyed Vorthak vessels. Because it was. "Ma'am," her communications officer said, "we are receiving signals from the Vorthak fleet. They want us to surrender." Bo-Ram laughed. She was a small woman with gray hair. but her eyes were as hard as steel. "Tell them we have a counteroffer. They can surrender to us." Around her, the bridge crew worked at stations filled with technology that mixed human engineering with captured alien systems. In just 2 weeks, Earth scientists had learned to use Vorthak computers, weapons, and engines. But they had made them better. "Ma'am," the tactical officer reported, "enemy fleet is moving to intercept us." 20 ship? Only 20? Boram shook her head. They still do not understand what they are facing. "Hyunsuk, are your Marines ready?" Commander Hyunsuk Yoon's voice came through the speaker from the Marine deck. "Yes, ma'am. We are ready to board their ships." Boram smiled. The aliens thought space battles were fought ship to ship. Humans had learned a different way. Why destroy enemy ships when you could capture them? "All ships," she announced to her small fleet, "begin attack pattern Alpha. Target their engines, not their hulls. We want prisoners." The battle began badly for the Vorthak. Their 20 ships had more firepower than Boram's 5 vessels. But power meant nothing if you could not hit your target. Human ships moved in ways that should have been impossible. They changed direction without turning. They disappeared and reappeared in different places. They used technology that the Vorthak had never seen before. How are they doing that? The Vorthak fleet commander screamed at his science officer. "I do not know, sir," the officer replied. "Their ships seem to be using our own gate technology for movement." "That is impossible." It takes years to learn gate technology. But it was not impossible. It had taken human scientists exactly 9 days to understand dimensional travel. It had taken them 5 more days to make it better than the original. While the Vorthak ships tried to target the moving humans, Boram's fleet struck back. Their weapons were designed not to destroy but to disable. Energy beams hit Vorthak engines and shut them down. Missiles struck weapon systems and made them useless. One by one, the alien ships stopped moving. "Hyunsuk," Boram called. "You are clear for boarding." "On our way." "Ma'am." Small human ships shot out from the main vessels. Each one carried 20 Marines in powered armor. They flew straight at the disabled Vorthak ships and attached to their hulls. The Vorthak had thick armor on their ships. The humans cut through it like it was paper. Hyunsuk was the first Marine through the breach in the enemy flagship. Inside, he found Vorthak crew members trying to set up defenses. They were too slow. Human Marines moved through the alien ship like ghosts. Their armor made no sound. Their weapons fired energy beams that knocked out enemies without killing them. In 10 minutes, they controlled the entire ship. "Bridge secured," Hyunsuk reported. "We have prisoners." "Good," Boram replied. "Bring their commander to me." 20 minutes later, Hyunsuk dragged the Vorthak fleet commander onto Boram's bridge. The alien was tall and proud, but his 4 eyes showed fear. "I am Fleet Commander Zektha of the Vorthak 3rd Fleet," he announced. "Under galactic law, I demand to be treated as a prisoner of war." Boram walked up to him slowly. Even though she was much smaller than the alien, he stepped backward. "There is no galactic law between us," she said calmly. "You invaded our world. You tried to kill our people. The only law that matters now is human law." "What do you want?" Zektha asked. "Information," Boram replied. "Tell me about your other fleets. Tell me about your homeworlds. Tell me about your defenses. I will not betray my people." Boram nodded to Yoonji Kang, her intelligence officer. Yoonji stepped forward with a small device in her hand. "This is a neural interface," Yoonji explained to the alien. "We built it using your own technology. It will extract the information from your mind whether you cooperate or not." Zektha's eyes went wide. "That is torture. It is forbidden." "You should have thought about that before you attacked Earth," Boram said. 3 hours later, the humans knew everything about Vorthak military forces. They knew where every ship was located. They knew which worlds had the best defenses. They knew about secret bases and hidden weapons. Most importantly, they knew that the Vorthak were scared. "Ma'am," Yoonji reported, "I have been listening to enemy communications. They are recalling ships from all over their empire to defend their core worlds." "How many ships?" "Over 300. Boram's bridge crew looked worried. 5 human ships against 300 alien vessels seemed impossible, but Boram was smiling. "Perfect," she said. "If they bring all their ships to one place, we can capture them all at once." "Ma'am?" her tactical officer asked. "Send a message to Earth," Boram ordered. "Tell them we need the rest of the fleet." The rest of the human fleet was not more ships. It was something the Vorthak had never imagined. 2 days later, Dimensional gates began opening all through Vorthak space, not just one or two gates, but hundreds of them, and through each gate came human ships. But these were not the ships that Boram had brought. These were new vessels built from captured Vorthak technology, ships that looked alien but thought like humans. The Vorthak fleet that had come to defend their core worlds found themselves surrounded by enemy vessels that appeared from nowhere, ships that used their own technology against them. This is Admiral Boram's song of the human defense fleet. Her voice echoed through space on all Vorthak frequencies. To all alien vessels in this system, you have one chance to surrender. Lower your shields and power down your weapons. You have 60 seconds to comply. The Vorthak fleet commander was not ready to give up. All ships attack the humans. For the Empire, the battle lasted exactly 12 minutes. When it was over, every Vorthak ship was either destroyed or captured. The humans had lost 3 vessels. But more importantly, the humans now had over 200 alien ships to add to their growing fleet. Yunji, Boram said, send another message to the Galactic Council. What should it say, ma'am? Boram looked out at the captured enemy fleet. Soon human crews would be flying those ships to other Vorthak worlds. Tell them that the Vorthak 3rd, 7th, and 12th fleets have been eliminated. Tell them that human forces are now in control of 17 Vorthak systems. And tell them that this is just the beginning. Should I include our casualties, ma'am? Yes. Tell them that in 3 battles we have lost 57 human soldiers. The Vorthak have lost over 40,000. Yunji nodded and began typing the message. Ma'am, Hyunsuk called from the marine deck. What should we do with all these prisoners? Boram thought for a moment. Put them to work. They are going to help us build more ships, and they are going to teach us everything they know about the rest of the galaxy. And if they refuse, then they can watch us destroy their homeworlds one by one until they change their minds. The message was sent to the Galactic Council that evening. When the alien leaders read it, many of them felt something they had not experienced in centuries. Fear. The small, primitive world called Earth had become something terrible. The humans were not just defending themselves anymore. They were hunting, and they were very, very good at it. Wu Jin-han arrived at the Krelian colony world of New Prosperity in a ship that had once belonged to the Vorthak Empire. The human diplomatic corps leader was not there to make friends. He was there to deliver a message. The Krelian governor met him at the spaceport. Governor Thekmar was a tall, blue-skinned being who ruled over 3 million colonists. He had been expecting human contact ever since news of the Vorthak defeats had spread through the galaxy. Welcome to New Prosperity, Thekmar said carefully. We are honored by your visit. Wu Jin did not smile. He had learned that smiling made aliens nervous. Governor, I am here to offer your people a choice. They walked through the colony's main city. It was clean and peaceful. The Krelians were known as good people who worked hard and avoided conflicts. What kind of choice? Thekmar asked. The Krelian government supplied food and medical supplies to the Vorthak military, Wu Jin said. You helped them prepare for the invasion of Earth. Thekmar stopped walking. That was business. We sell supplies to many species. We did not know they planned to invade anyone. But now you do know, Wu Jin replied. The question is what you plan to do about it. They entered the governor's office. Wu Jin sat down and placed a small device on the desk. It projected images into the air above them. The first image showed Earth during the invasion. Cities on fire, Vorthak ships attacking human civilians. This is what your supplies helped make possible, Wu Jin said. The next image showed the destroyed Vorthak fleet, hundreds of alien ships floating dead in space. This is what happened to them. Thekmar looked at the images and felt sick. What do you want from us? 3 options, Wu Jin said. First, you can join the Human Alliance. Share your technology with us. Help us hunt down the remaining Vorthak forces. In return, we will protect you and trade with you. And the second option, you can stay neutral. Stop all trade with species that oppose us. Do not help our enemies in any way. We will leave you alone. The third option, Wu Jin's voice became very quiet. You can choose to help our enemies. In that case, we will treat you as enemies too. Thekmar was quiet for a long moment. What happened to the Vorthak homeworld? Wu Jin pressed a button on his device. New images appeared. They showed a planet covered in human ships and bases. Cities that had once been centers of the Vorthak Empire were now occupied by human forces. The Vorthak Empire no longer exists, he said. Their government surrendered last week. Their military forces are either destroyed or under our control. Their colonies are now human territory. In 3 months? In 3 months. Tekmar felt fear growing in his chest. An entire galactic empire had fallen in less than 1 season. Governor, Wu Jin continued, I need your answer now. Human fleets are moving to 40 other worlds today. Every species that helped the Vorthak is getting the same choice. Some have already decided. What did they choose? Most chose to join us. 2 species chose neutrality. 1 chose to fight. What happened to the ones who chose to fight? Wu Jin did not answer. He did not need to. Tekmar could guess. While Wu Jin was making his offer to the Krellians, Dr. Ji Haikwan was working in a laboratory on the former Vorthak homeworld. She was Earth's leading expert on alien biology, and she had a special project, computer, she said. Show me the genetic analysis of the Thakari species. The Thakari had been the Vorthak's closest allies. They had provided weapons and soldiers for the invasion of Earth. Now they were refusing to surrender. Ji Hai studied the genetic information that human scientists had collected. Every alien species had weaknesses. The humans just needed to find them. Interesting, she said to her assistant. The Thakari immune system has a very specific vulnerability. Can we exploit it? Oh yes. We can create a virus that will only affect them. It will not harm other species, not even the Vorthak. Her assistant looked worried. Are we really going to use biological weapons? Ji Hai stopped working and looked at him. They helped invade our home. They tried to kill our families. What did you think would happen? Meanwhile, in another part of the galaxy, Dong Hyun Lim was conducting a different kind of warfare. He was Earth's specialist in psychological operations, and he had a talent for making enemies afraid. Dong Hyun sat in a communication center on a captured Vorthak space station. Around him, human technicians worked at alien computers. They were broadcasting messages to every corner of the galaxy. Attention all species of the galactic community. Dong Hyun's voice went out on hundreds of frequencies. This is the Human Alliance. We want you to know what happened to the Zelkani Third Fleet. The message included video recordings from the battle. The Zelkani had tried to rescue a Vorthak colony. Their 30 ships had attacked a human patrol. The video showed what happened next. Human ships appeared from dimensional gates all around the Zelkani fleet. The alien vessels were destroyed in minutes. Not one Zelkani escaped. The Zelkani government has asked us for peace, Dong Hyun continued. We have agreed on one condition. They must hand over every official who voted to help the Vorthak invasion. The next part of the message showed Zelkani leaders being loaded onto human ships. They would be taken to Earth to stand trial for crimes against humanity. We want to be clear, Dong Hyun said. We do not hate alien species. We hate those who threaten our home. Choose wisely. The psychological warfare was working. All over the galaxy, alien governments were holding emergency meetings. Some decided to surrender immediately. Others tried to negotiate. A few prepared for war. Back on New Prosperity, Governor Tekmar made his decision. We choose to join your alliance, he told Wu Jin. A wise choice, the human replied. You will need to sign these agreements. The papers were already prepared. They covered technology sharing, military cooperation, and trade relationships. The Krellians would keep their government and their freedom, but they would also help the humans hunt down the remaining enemies. There is one more thing, Wu Jin said. We know that some Vorthak officials are hiding in your territory. We want them. Tekmar nodded quickly. Of course, we will find them for you. No need. We already know where they are. Human soldiers were already moving through the colony. They had been there for hours, waiting for the governor's decision. If he had chosen to fight, they would have taken the world by force. Since he had chosen cooperation, they would just take the war criminals. Within 2 hours, 17 Vorthak fugitives were in human custody. Thank you for your cooperation, Wu Jin said as he prepared to leave. What happens now? Tekmar asked. Now you help us bring peace to the galaxy. By conquering everyone who opposes you. Wu Jin paused at the door. Governor, do you know how many humans died in the invasion of Earth? No, 12,000. Men, women, and children killed by aliens who thought we would be easy prey. Wu Jin's voice became hard. We will not let that happen again. Ever. If that means conquering every aggressive species in the galaxy, then that is what we will do. As his ship left New Prosperity, Wu Jin contacted Earth Command. This is Diplomatic Team 7. The Krellians have joined the alliance. Moving to the next target. Understood, Team 7. How many allies does that make? Wujin checked his records. 137 species have joined us. 43 have chosen neutrality. 18 have chosen to fight. And the 18 who chose to fight? 12 of them no longer exist. We are working on the other 6. The human expansion was not random. It was planned, organized, and efficient. Species that cooperated were treated well. Those that resisted were eliminated. Within 6 months, the balance of power in the galaxy had completely changed. The old order of strong species ruling over weak ones was gone. In its place was something new and terrifying, a human empire that grew larger every day. And at the center of it all, on the small blue world called Earth, military leaders planned their next moves with cold efficiency. The galaxy was learning a hard truth. Humans did not forgive those who threatened their families, and they never, ever forgot. 1 year after the first dimensional gate opened above Earth, Jaemin Seo walked into the Galactic Council chambers as humanity's first permanent representative. The same hall where Dae-ho Kim had once sat alone in the back row was now very different. A large section of seats was filled with humans and their allies. The Vorthak section was empty. Many other species had fewer representatives than before. Jaemin took his place at the council table. He was young for such an important job, but he had earned his position by helping organize the human expansion across 47 star systems. The council will now hear the monthly security report, announced Kilnara, who was still the Eldrin mediator. Her musical voice was sadder than it used to be. Admiral Ye Jin-oh stood to give the report. She commanded the human deep space fleet, which now included over 800 captured alien vessels. Peace has been maintained in all human-controlled systems, Yejin announced. No hostile actions have been detected. All trade routes remain open and safe. She did not need to explain why the trade routes were safe. Human patrol ships were everywhere. Any vessel that showed signs of aggression simply disappeared. What about the remaining Vorthak resistance groups? Asked a representative from the Centauran Alliance. There are no remaining resistance groups, Yejin replied calmly. The last Vorthak holdout surrendered 3 weeks ago. This was not entirely true. The last Vorthak holdouts had not surrendered. They had been eliminated by human forces who no longer bothered to take prisoners from that species. We have concerns about human expansion, said the Alziran ambassador. Your forces have established bases in neutral territory. Jaemin stood up slowly. When he spoke, his voice was polite but firm. The bases you mention are in systems that were previously controlled by hostile forces. We occupied them to prevent future attacks on peaceful worlds. But you have not returned control to local governments. Local governments that supported the invasion of Earth no longer exist, Jaemin said simply. New governments have been established. Democratic governments that respect the rights of all species. What he did not say was that these new governments were chosen by human administrators. They were loyal to Earth and would never again support any action against human interests. This is colonialism, the Alziran ambassador protested. No, Jaemin replied. This is security. After the official meeting ended, Kilnara approached Jaemin privately. The Eldrin had been one of the few species to remain truly neutral during the human expansion. Can we talk? She asked. They walked to a private room away from the main chamber. Jaemin, she said, what has happened to your people? A year ago, Dae-ho Kim came here asking for peace. Now you rule half the galaxy. Jaemin looked out a window at the stars. Somewhere out there, human ships were patrolling trade routes and human colonies were growing on alien worlds. We learned something about ourselves during the invasion, he said. We learned that we are very good at war, better than any other species in the galaxy. But the war is over. The Vorthak are gone. Why do you keep expanding? Because we cannot trust anyone else to keep the peace. Kilnara felt a chill. You think you are the only species capable of maintaining order? We are the only species that has never tried to invade someone else's homeworld, Jaemin pointed out. Every other major power in the galaxy has conquered other worlds for resources or territory. We only fight when we are attacked first. But now you occupy dozens of worlds. We liberated dozens of worlds from governments that supported genocide against humans. There is a difference. That same day, on the former Vorthak world of Keth Prime, Sun Ho Bei was dealing with the practical side of human expansion. As governor of the first major human colony in alien space, He had to solve problems that no human had ever faced before. "Sir," his assistant said, "we have another protest in the capital city." Sunho looked up from his reports. "What are they protesting about this time?" "The new education requirements. Some Kethian parents do not want their children to learn human languages." "And what did you tell them?" "That all citizens of human territory must be able to communicate in at least one human language. It is a requirement for employment in government or major businesses." Sunho nodded. This was part of the integration plan. Within one generation, every person in human territory would be able to speak Korean, English, or Chinese. They would learn human history and human values. They would become part of the human community. "Sir," his assistant continued, "some of the protesters are calling it cultural destruction." "It is cultural evolution," Sunho corrected. "We are not destroying their culture. We are adding human culture to it. In 50 years, Keth Prime will be a better world because of human influence." This was not entirely true either. Human administrators were working to eliminate aspects of alien cultures that they considered dangerous or primitive. Religions that promoted violence were banned. Political systems that oppressed minorities were replaced. Art that celebrated war was removed from museums. But most aliens accepted these changes. Life under human rule was actually better for most people. There was less crime, more food, better medical care, and no wars. The humans were efficient rulers. They were also completely intolerant of any challenge to their authority. "Sir," the assistant said, "there is one more thing. Intelligence reports that some former Vorthak military officers are trying to organize resistance movements in the outer colonies." "How many officers?" "About 50 spread across 12 worlds." Sunho made a note on his computer. "Send their names to Admiral Yejin. She will handle it." Within a week, all 50 former Vorthak officers had disappeared. No one knew exactly what happened to them, but everyone understood the message. Resistance to human rule was not tolerated. Meanwhile, in a secret facility on Earth's moon, the most important project in human history was nearing completion. Dr. Minho Kang led a team of scientists and engineers who were building something that would change the galaxy forever. "Status report," Minho said as he entered the main laboratory. "All systems are ready for testing," his chief engineer replied. "The new gate network is complete." Minho looked at the massive device that filled the center of the lab. It looked like a dimensional gate, but it was much more advanced than anything the Vorthak had built. "This will allow us to reach other galaxies?" he asked. "Yes, sir. Not just other galaxies, but other dimensions. We will be able to explore realities that no one has ever seen." Minho smiled. The human expansion in their own galaxy was almost complete. Soon they would need new worlds to colonize, new resources to exploit, and new challenges to overcome. "Begin the test sequence," he ordered. The gate activated with a sound like thunder. Through it, they could see stars that were not in their galaxy. Worlds that had never known war or suffering. Worlds that would soon know humans. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, Jamin was finishing his final report of the day. "Human forces have successfully established peace in 237 star systems," he announced. "Crime rates have fallen by 90%. Trade has increased by 400%. All citizens in human territory have access to food, shelter, and medical care." "At what cost?" asked the Alziran ambassador. "At the cost of tolerating those who threaten innocent people," Jamin replied. "We have eliminated criminal organizations, corrupt governments, and military forces that preyed on civilians. The galaxy is safer now. You have created an empire. We have created peace." After the meeting, Jamin returned to his office and activated a secure communication link to Earth. The face of Earth's military commander appeared on his screen. "How did the council meeting go?" the commander asked. "As expected, some species are still unhappy about our expansion, but they are not willing to fight us over it." "Good. We have received reports from the deep space exploration fleets. They have found 17 more galaxies that contain intelligent life." Jamin nodded. "Are any of them hostile?" "Unknown. We are preparing first contact protocols. Make sure they understand the rules. We come in peace, but we will not tolerate aggression against human interests." "Understood. Also, the lunar facility reports that the new gate technology is ready for deployment." "Excellent. How long before we can begin expansion beyond our galaxy?" 6 months, assuming no technical problems." Jamin ended the communication and walked to his office window. Outside, he could see ships from a dozen different species docked at the Council space station. but all of them flew flags showing their allegiance to the human alliance. The galaxy had learned to accept human leadership. Not because they loved humans, but because they feared what would happen if they did not. And soon other galaxies would learn the same lesson. Humanity had started as the defenders of a small blue world. Now they were the guardians of galactic peace. Whether anyone wanted their protection or not, the invasion of Earth had ended with human victory. The age of human expansion was just beginning. In his final report to Earth Command that night, Jamin wrote, "Mission accomplished. The galaxy is secure. Recommend proceeding to Phase 2 of expansion. Target all neighboring galaxies. Estimated time to completion, 50 years. He sent the message and went to sleep, dreaming of new worlds under human control. Outside his window, the stars waited.